Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright folks, so we're off to another crazy week now, aren't we? Another Trump indictment. Except this time it seems like the Trump indictment was released by accident, even before the grand jury voted to proceed with the charges. It seems like Fulton County's Fani Willis is pursuing 13 charges, 12 of which are considered felonies, and one is listed as a serious felony. All of them seem utterly ridiculous. In fact, this whole thing is looking so completely ridiculous that it's now changing the minds of famous Trump detractors. Who would have thought? It seems now even Mike Cernovich is coming to the Trump side after months of shilling Ron DeSantis. Things are getting crazy, folks. Let me update you on the latest indictment. It's Groundhog Day once again, and of course, I guess you could say the political effects. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so a little bit of a crazy situation here. Breaking: Georgia DA files, then retracts felony charges against Trump before grand jury even votes. On Monday, a document outlining charges against 2024 GOP frontrunner Donald Trump by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's office was briefly posted online and deleted without explanation. The grand jury in charge of the case has yet to vote on the matter. The document, dated August 14th, obtained by Reuters, reveals 13 charges against Trump, 12 of which are felonies, and one is listed as a serious felony. Here's the list of charges: violation of Georgia's RICO Act, racketeering influenced and corrupt organizations. This was an act that was used to go against the mafia, by the way. Listed as a serious felony. There's no justification or logic, no general explanation as to how this serious felony charge is even applicable in this case, but there it is, that's the number one charge. Then we've got solicitation of violation of oath by public officer, conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer, conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit false statements in writings, conspiracy to commit filing false documents, conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit false statements in writings, filing false documents, solicitation of a violation of oath by public officer, false statement in writings, solicitation of violation of oath by public officer, and false statements in writings. The whole situation is very weird, to say the least. Clearly there isn't enough information to make an opinion here. Let's just say I'm seriously skeptical. They're all conspiracy charges, and the major charge being a RICO charge. I think for the most part they're trying to twist the law in order to force charges. Clearly they don't have a clean case. If they did, it wouldn't have taken them 2.5 years to bring this indictment. Or this indictment that got released on their website, which they then deleted because they released the charges before the grand jury even voted. The whole thing reeks of corruption and election interference, and obviously I'm not the only one who sees it. It seems like these ridiculous indictments are unifying the base more than they're fracturing the base and bringing down Donald Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted, "Here we go again, another disastrous Trump indictment. It's downright pathetic that Fulton County publicly posted the indictment on its website even before the grand jury had finished convening. Since the four prosecutions against Donald Trump are using novel and untested legal theories, it's fair game for him to do the same in defense. Immediately file a motion to dismiss for a constitutional due process violation by publicly issuing an indictment before the grand jury had actually signed one. He should make a strong argument on these grounds, and it would send a powerful message to the ever-expansive prosecutorial police state. As someone who's running for president against Trump, I'd volunteer to write the amicus brief to the court myself. Prosecutors should not be deciding U.S. presidential elections, and if they're so overzealous that they commit constitutional violations, then the cases should be thrown out and they should be held accountable." And Vivek Ramaswamy hits the nail on the head so perfectly once again that he's even bringing the DeSantis shills to our side, it seems. Cernovich on Twitter retweets Vivek and then writes, "Why can't DeSantis do this? How long will it take him to issue a statement even if he does?" A couple things come to mind. Very often you'll hear that this is exactly what Democrats want. They want Republicans to rally behind Donald Trump because they think they can beat him. They're purposely indicting him to turn him into a martyr so they can then take him down because DeSantis is a greater threat. Now that's the thought, that's the theory, but I'm not exactly sure if that's actually the case. The idea that DeSantis is a greater threat than Donald Trump, I think, is a little bit laughable. I like DeSantis. Great governor, arguably one of the best governors in modern history, but on the national stage, the guy has the charisma of a piece of toast. He's clearly not the threat that the narrative suggests, but regardless, it seems like there's some merit because DeSantis shills, notorious DeSantis shills, all of a sudden are frustrated with him in his refusal to defend the previous president against these garbage, bogus indictments based on crackpot legal theory, and the end result clearly is Trump is being cast as a martyr. Whether that's part of the strategy or not, clearly it's happening, and he's becoming more powerful than ever, especially within the GOP world. I don't know if that's a good thing for the Democrats. I honestly think they're creating a political Goliath that they're going to struggle to contend with in the not-so-distant future. I mean, a RICO charge with someone like this on the grand jury in Georgia?
Personally want to hear from the former president.
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
It's simply unbelievable. And I think these prosecutors in the DNC are severely underestimating the level of potential grassroots swell that could come of this. And speaking of grassroots support and small donors, clearly to a certain extent the establishment knows how much of a threat the little guys really are. CNN commentator Jonah Goldberg explains that small donors are the biggest problem for democracy.
But I just also think that we were dealing with a time where there were a lot of people, there was a lot of cheering and self-congratulation about the rise of small donors a decade ago. And now small donors are actually one of the biggest problems for democracy, for the GOP, because large donors actually have a strategic view about moderation, who can win, who can't. Small donors really are just venting their spleen with their credit card, and they lock candidates into positions that can hurt them in a general election.
Such an important point.
Possibly one of the dumbest things ever said on TV, and I don't really need to justify that statement or reaction now, do I? But I don't know, just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, any more ridiculous, an indictment document drops before the grand jury even votes. The Republican base is rallying even some of Trump's most ardent of defenders. You know, Nancy Pelosi looking all giddy during her media tour, mostly on MSNBC, celebrating these indictments, claiming they're justified. Democrats acting like they're defending democracy by legally persecuting their political opponent. I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to end the way they think it's going to end. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me out of touch. Call me biased. Tell me I'm living in a little bubble. I simply cannot accept a reality where people take this stuff seriously. It seems so obvious we have rogue prosecutors working in the DNC's interest. And obviously the same thing at the DOJ. In that type of environment where there's so much clear misuse and abuse of power, abuse of the judicial system, I just have to believe that there's going to be some sort of counteracting force that says no to the corrupt interest, hopefully handing them a historic loss. I mean, it's just hitting unbelievable levels of craziness at this point. Fulton County posted charges before the grand jury had even finished. If this doesn't mean that the grand jury has been completely tainted, then I don't know what does. And if someone like Mike Cernovich is having, I guess you could call a change of heart moment, then I'd assume he's not the only one. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.